Dr. Jakpreet. I'm going to be moderating these two gentlemen. I don't know what I'll be doing in the last session when everybody's packing their bags and everybody's ready to take off. And here they put us on the stage. The fourth one has already disappeared, so we only three left here anyway. So what is really going to happen is how long we are going to sustain you here, I don't know. But what Swati's done, she's made the whole thing so lively, at least we can survive for another 25 minutes. So, and the topic, as you see right now before us, is very challenging. They put 4 terms here. एक term हो जाता तो ही बहुत था, but 4 terms के ऊपर अब हमारे को we have to deliberate. Skills, knowledge, value, and attitude. Now these 4 things, the four criteria, what we are going to talk about, are very, very important. And I understand why they put it on the last, because this is the nectar. This is where we are going to take away a lot. And I want you people to be involved, so what I'll do is really, I will moderate with them, but in between we'll keep open it to you. So anytime anybody has anything to say, may just raise a hand, we want to involve you. And particularly, you know what, there's a meaning why we invite you. Aapki bhi photo aani chahiye. So, you know, like in the magazine, you will also showcase, the spotlight would be on you. So, having said that, you know, I was thinking how to start with these two gentlemen, who Mr. Salvesh, Dr. Salvesh Naidu. Everybody knows him, a man from you know, Pathways, director there, on the board of many schools, very versatile. He was with me recently in our conclave, and still he is a show stealer. We have Mr. Pradipta, who himself, when I was talking to him in the morning, he says he wants to do a lot for the special children. Now, when this is a passion with a person, understand what we are going to go through in the next half an hour. But what we are talking about here, I was just being a moderator, I know I only have to say that in the beginning, and then these two gentlemen will go on. I was reading, and there's something very interesting what I want you to listen to me. And this is something what I want to share to the community here. It's alarming and eye-opening study, what I am now going to give you a glimpse, which is very shocking. In a study conducted by UNICEF and published last week, that was on the November 7th, an estimated 54% of South Asian youth leave school without the necessary skills. To get a decent job in the next decade, as automation, digitization, and other forms of technology is all set to will out millions of jobs. According to the data produced by the Global Business Coalition for Education, the Education Commission and UNICEF, with almost half of its population, 1.8 billion below the age of 24, led by India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and South Asia, will have the largest youth force in the world until 2030, who will have no skills ready, no attitude, no knowledge, and no application. So my question to you, Salvesh, is what are the top 3 values and skills required to thrive in today's world? But before I open this question, there is something very interesting in the topic. Skills, knowledge, values, attitude. A child needs today to thrive and shape their world for tomorrow. So what we have to see is here, what values and skills are we talking today, because we are talking about thriving in the world which you will face tomorrow. So over to you, Sarvesh.
Okay, so good afternoon. And there are various ways of stealing the show. The easiest one is to jump up, try and get off the stage, trip, fall on your nose, and everyone else will come running to you and the show will be over. And you will be a show stopper. But we're not going to do that. We're actually taking Dr. Watch very seriously. And she said something, what did she say? Something about male empowerment? Is that right? She did say something like that? Yes, please look at the stage.
I wish, Ravi, you would have asked Governor to stay back here and see this panel.
And if there was any female on the panel, we made sure that she hasn't made it to the stage. So, you know, as males, we do know how to survive in a predominant female population in the world called education. Okay, so before we come to, this is actually that topic there is like a thesis for a doctorate. And we expected to talk about it in 25 minutes or 30 minutes. But let's try one exercise. How many of you here are 45 or below in age? Don't worry, ladies, you can raise your hand. I'm not asking a specific one. That's it? Come on, be honest, you people. All right. All right. So, we've been talking and rubbing it into ground about 2030. So, I'm going to be a little more generous. I'll say 2035. The people who raise their hands, you will still be working in schools, hopefully, by the time 2035 arrives. So this is for you and planning. But for the people who are more than 45, 2030, 2025, don't worry. The time has come, the future is going to come, and we just have to talk about it. Okay, how many of you have grown up in a family of 6 or more? Or you live in a house of 6 or more? So you'll understand what I'm going to do next. All right. How many of you have grown up in a boarding school? No, grown up, lived. Raised in that school, okay. So you'll understand what I'm going to say. I think what we feel like right now, just imagine the situation. You're in a boarding school, you go to the washroom, you're going to have a hot shower. It's a cold winter day. And suddenly you find that by the time your turn is going to come, you run out of hot water. All right? That's how we feel right now. That everyone has said everything, and we got to figure out. So what do? Either we have a bath with cold water, or we don't have a bath at all. But that's not an option. We can't walk off the stage. So we're going to have a bath with cold water and try and see what we can salvage. So here's a little exercise relevant to the question Jakpreet asked now. I want you to, in 30 seconds, with your neighbor, share a nursery rhyme, whichever one. Just share. Come on, go back to childhood. We've been talking so much about early childhood. All right. Anyone who can narrate Humpty Dumpty? No, I don't want a new version. I want a traditional version. Yes, please.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty back.
All right, very good. Going back many decades. Now comes the question of, I'm just starting with a little bit of knowledge. Right? We've done this. We've narrated it, we got awards, we got certificates, we got prizes for narrating it with emotion, action, without forgetting a word and so on. Now you look at it from the adult's point of view. And here we are in 2019. Apply your knowledge and tell me how many departments are required to interpret Humpty Dumpty. Please discuss with your partners. How many departments would you require in school or beyond to handle Humpty Dumpty? Okay, just to help you out. You need the administrative department or disciplinary department who allowed Humpty Dumpty to sit on a wall. You require a nutrition department. You know, always been portrayed as someone very round and rotund. You require a legal department who's going to come and sue you. You require a department from the human resources who hired these people anyway. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. They couldn't solve the problem and they are working for you. All right? Whoever hired them? And you can go into a medical department. Who's going to put him together again anyway? Because the media and the social media and the police force and the ministry and everyone else is coming to get you in the next half an hour. That's all you've got. How are you going to put Humpty Dumpty together again? But you know, folks, We've done it with such rhythm, action, joy. We've never put the knowledge together, but that's really what a young child is doing today to you. They're going to ask you these questions. And sometimes correlated to that could be the parent. It's violent, it's accidental, something wrong has happened, there's been no positive outcome out of it. There's no learning which has helped you to go home and live happily ever after. Okay? There's a lot of negativity in that. And yet, that is being thrust. And you look at many other nursery rhymes. Now, I know the experts sitting here, and I'm not. And you tell us there's a deep meaning behind this, there was a reason why Baba Black Sheep came up, and so on and so forth. But honestly, till today, I can't figure out why the mouse ran up the clock and came down, running down again. And why was it not wiped out of that area? Where was the pest control? Okay, to have the mice running up and down the clock and so on. So today's child is questioning you. Their concept of knowledge is very different. They want meaning. And so I say that the word knowledge, just break it into know and bring in ledge and put all you know onto a ledge. Spread it out and decide what is worth knowing and what worth is worth pushing off the ledge. Because we tend to over-thrust the amount of things a child should know. And the more they know, or the more they're supposed to know, the greater the pride. What is the thing if a child can count from 100 to 0 backwards? Does it really matter? Probably some skills involved in that. But would you give extra marks for that? So the whole idea of knowledge, you keep increasing it, come to middle school, come to senior school and beyond. We are taking great pride in what a child knows. And yet a lot of speakers today have spoken about 2030 and 2035 and the unknown. And I too am a firm believer. In 2035, the children who are now 16 are going to be at the peak of their working careers. Almost everyone will become a CEO and a managing director and so on. They don't wait for the age of 50 to become in the future. They will have become. And whatever you teach, I think as Swati pointed out, in 20 years, look at the technology, how it's changed. Life will have changed, not for the known, but for the unknown. And most of the time, we're taking great pride in what they know, but there's hardly any assessment in helping them solve a problem of the unknown. So I think the whole interpretation of knowledge, the whole way we go about it, is something that we need to ask ourselves, because we are still largely dominated by our knowledge influencing what we need to do. And I will stop with this sentence: the future of the child lies in helping a learner to learn how to learn. And the more you can fathom that, and the more you can realize that, the more you realize it's not your knowledge that the child is going to gain from, but the knowledge they pick up from the world around them. Our job is to help them to analyze it and interpret it. So I'm just stopping at the word knowledge right now, and we'll come back to the other words.
Thank you so much. Now coming to you, I think from the Humpty Dumpty we come to the Jack and the Jill. And we take on from here, because we are here for the lullabies and the poems, what we learn and recited in our childhood. And what Swati was talking, and it made a lot of sense that when a child at a very early age, because that is where the wiring of the brain is happening, and that's where the permanent learning is happening. And after that is only overhauling, which you keep doing after that. But that permanent wiring which is happening in the brain tells you exactly what you have to do in the later stages of life. And that is what she said, that the social skills have to combine with the cognitive skills. And then only we can see a huge change in the child of tomorrow. Here when the child comes to tomorrow, forget about the social skills and forget about the cognitive skills. I'm talking about the child is more bothered about his degrees and diplomas and about his past certificates. The departments, the boards, I'm talking about the national, regional, all boards, national, pan-India. Are they concerned about this? Because when we are talking about all this, we need to deliberate. Are they really thinking about these skills? Are they really thinking about these knowledge-based talks what we are doing? Are they talking about the attitude of the child? Or the children are just passing out an exam without any skills? This is what is happening.
Yes, it's very true. Actually, still till date, the students, we always focus on the marks. If we don't even see when the child goes to any university, when the child goes to any of our national university or an international university, the first thing that we come to university checks on is what is the grade, what is the point that you have got, or what is the total, what is the score that you have achieved in your school exam or in your board exam. So skill, though we know very well that skill is a compulsion, it's something that needs to be given a great focus, but are we working on it? No. We talk so much on stage that yes, the skills are very important. Every child should be learning different type of skills in learning whatever the subject the child is doing. It is good when the child is in the school, but the moment the child steps out to the world with his mark sheet, the first thing that comes in play is what is your grade. I mean, it is very surprising. Though we know that we have to work on this, so I don't know exactly what can be done about it. When a child goes for the international admissions, then we can write it down on the letter of recommendations and all these things. But when it happens to the national universities, those letter of recommendations does not even come into considerations. So that skill almost phases off out over there. But yes, I feel that skills are a compulsion. The skills the child needs to develop, and the teachers are the person who can help the child to develop the skills. Yes, of course.
Mr. Pradipta, very right, because he deals with the people in admissions and all that. I'll come to Dr. Sarvesh, and what Dr. Naidu, I really want to know, when we are so concerned about the value systems, and we are connecting the child that he may carry value systems, and then we talk all about that they are eroding, the value systems are eroding from the society. What, as an educator, what is the role of an educator? How can, they've got a job to give, transfer knowledge, they have to look after the grades, they are responsible to the parents. Where does value and skills fit in there? And how do they fulfill the demand of the values and the skills, what we are talking about?
I think, first of all, when we talk about skills, it's a very tricky word. You take the S away from either side of the word, and that's exactly what we've done with it. We've killed it. Because it has no value, as you pointed out. We're just looking at the marks. How many times are we actually judging a person with the skills? Even the practicals and things that come into their lives is all fudge most of the time, you know. And if you give anyone here, listen, 18 out of 20 or whatever it is, it's almost like a failure. So no one's doing that. Now, just last night and this morning, I don't know if you had the same experience, but my shower in my bedroom, this is an expensive hotel, right? And when you put the overhead shower on, it just A, wastes a lot of water, and there's very little way you can control it. B, at least in my room, the slope of the outlet of the water is the wrong way around. So when you put the shower on top, the water is actually flooding the shower place and is flowing into the bedroom instead of flowing out. Now, one would ask, any layperson, not the person laying the floor, but any layperson should be able to get these things right. And in a premium hotel like this. So I know they're going to throw me out in a couple of hours from here, but I've got a flight to catch anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's the reality. That's the fact in what is happening in this country. For us, skills don't matter anymore. You know, this wonderful word called jugaad that we've got. We're losing that art. And very soon we're going to lose the art of jugaad, because it's either going to be like the culture in the West, throw it away and get a new one. No improvisations on it, I think. And so that itself is something ethical in our education aspect. Why are we not teaching enough skills? Why are we not helping people? I mean, basic things. I'm combining ethics with skills. How many of us are particular, when two of you are standing in the corridor and a child cuts across you without saying, excuse me? How many educators today actually stop them and tell them why it's wrong? How many of you actually get a child to come back and not bang the door on your nose when they walk through a door and you're walking behind them? We accept it. The other day I was traveling in the Shatabdi, and there was a family going, and the tables like this and chairs on either side. And there was this 8-year-old boy sitting with his shoes off, with his feet up on the table, pointing to the father. There was food lying on that table, and it was okay to everyone. Now, is that skill? Are those values? Are they ethics? What do we do? But the point is, this has no place in our assessment system. We don't judge people like that. Where do we judge teachers? By first, the ethical values that they're going to carry with them. We're busy looking at their mark sheets and what grades they've got, and we're placing them accordingly. So, somewhere down the line, we've taken it for granted that this all happens naturally. And that is corroding a lot of the world around us. And so we need to go back to the value of skills. I've made it very, very simple. It's a lot more complex, but just for paucity of time, I thought I'd just share that with you.
I'm opening one question to the audience, and I really want you to think on this. The startups and the successful youngsters we are talking about are all dropouts. They don't carry those formal degrees. They are the most successful people. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about? Are they not proving us all wrong? Are they not giving a question to our mind? Here is Dr. Swati Popat making a difference to the early education. What are we talking about in the middle education? What are we talking about the higher education? And what are we talking about the universities? Are we in sync? She's doing her effort. She's giving a platform to a child. What are we then going to do in the middle? Are we going to ask Swati now to sync with this middle school? My question to you all, audience, think these youngsters who are dropouts can be so successful in life. Their startups are giving them a new innovations in the world. Are they not ready to question you now? Anybody has an answer to that? We all educators. This we never saw in a society. Yes, please. I want the audience to participate now.
So, I would like to share from my experience that all the people that we are talking about right now are the people who have learned life skills that he's talking about, which were not given in the classroom but outside the classroom. So what all they are doing today has made them successful is basically the life skills that they have learned outside the classroom. Whatever someone has learned inside the classroom has not been used.
Fantastic.
So sign, cost, and theta has never been used.
Very right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Very nice. Any one of you?
See, actually, again, regarding the values part of it, though I'm in the international setup for donkey's years now, but I think so still I've noticed that the kids, those who come from the national school background, still have some values, some ethics with them. I don't know why. I mean, I'm sorry if there must be some international school principals and all over here, but I'm sorry to speak about it. But yes, I did notice that, I do conduct a mathematics competition in Mumbai in collaboration with Bits Pilani called Infinity. And we do have number of students from international school as well as a national school background coming from that. So the simple thing is that when the schools come to introduce themselves, the way the international school students introduce themselves and their teacher, it's just unimaginable. I just can't tell you all the way they introduce the teacher. I mean, it is really sad to see that. But the flip side of it is the schools who may not be of that repute, may not be of that high tuition fees, the students may not be paying, but the regard, the respect that they speak to the teacher in front of the rest of the school is really, really remarkable.
Last question, I'm cutting because we are running short of time. Very important question. We've seen the 4 indicators here. Skill, understanding, I mean, whatever the 4 we are talking about, values. Anyone can pick one, which is the most successful for a child and why. So, yes sir, we come to you. And then ma'am to you, yes.
I think ethics is one thing, the values basically, which is one of the things which will put a lot of things in place. If we are able to do that right. Here I would like to say that in our Gurukul system, there was a process which has been long forgotten now. It was called Khamba Khanan. Khamba Khanan is a Sanskrit word that you first dig a hole into a ground and then put a pole in that. And then again cover it up from the sides with the help of mud and then try to again shake the pole whether it has been established or not. If it shakes, then you will have to redo the whole process. Now this is the way in which our entire Gurukul system would actually teach values to the children. Where a teacher would take a completely opposite side of, like, we all have been benefited by speaking lie in our life, so speaking lie is a good. So the teacher would take that stand and the student will have to now establish that thing in the other half. So that Khambkhanan needs to be done, and I think we need to kind of establish values more into the children.
Beautiful example, sir. Fantastic. Ma'am, you had to say something about
Just to add one sentence to that.
We'll come back to you, ma'am.
That this is exactly where I think we get so caught up with the syllabus. You'll always hear we got to complete the portion, we got to complete the syllabus. We forget about the curriculum. And curriculum is in our hands. No one on the planet is going to tell us what the curriculum of a school is going to be. It is the syllabus, which external bodies do that. And the second mistake we make is we think that from early years, you've got to start teaching them for the exams, because they've got to appear for a certain way in an exam. And you forget that that's only an exercise you go through in grades 10 and 12. The rest of the time, it's in your hands as educators. And you can bring in whatever you want. But we get so caught up, we actually sometimes I think we like to hide behind it. And that's really what
We are
happens.
coming to you, ma'am. Yes, that's the last answer because we're running short of time. And
With
then
knowledge, with skills, attitudes, and values, the end result should be like our aim should be to create a good human being at the end of it.
so your values. You also say that values are a very important thing. Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, of course we are running short of time and we need to close it here. But as a summary, I can say let's put these 4 words together. I'm a word juggler. So I juggle the words, make it into a sentence. And that is, with your permission, both of you, my wonderful panelists. No, please accept it. It's a humble request. Take my last sentence and that's a takeaway. See the 4 words and it says, give right knowledge to a child that will enhance his skills. And if he has his skills right, it will create a right attitude. And if he has a right attitude, values will come in automatically. It will be a fantastic human being. And that's all we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Dr. Naidu. Thank you, Mr. Kodikar. It was wonderful having you here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for the wonderful panelists we have.
Thank you. Can we keep clapping for the gentleman?